Hey guys, welcome to Neutral Gaming, and we're back for another episode of
Choose your fighter.
Cool Story, bro. For today's episode, we have a mix of controversies, heartbreaks, and returns. Since we don't want to end on a bad note, let's start with the less stellar news pieces for today. Bayonetta's original voice actress alleges that Platinum Games lowballed her for her role as Bayonetta in Bayonetta 3. Bayonetta 3 is arriving soon, and it's definitely one of the biggest Nintendo Switch releases of the year. However, the game's release is being overshadowed by a smear campaign by Helena Taylor. Taylor alleges that Platinum Games lowballed her in asking her to reprise her role as Bayonetta. This claim was denied by Platinum Games, with insider info pointing out that Taylor was actually offered a hefty sum to reprise her role. It was theorized that Taylor was offered the low amount to dissuade her from resigning, so that Platinum Games could hire prolific and more popular actress Jennifer Hale. Taylor also called for the boycott of the game entirely, encouraging fans to give their money to charity instead. The gaming community has been pretty divided on this one, with many correctly pointing out that voice actors in gaming have been egregiously underpaid over decades. However, it also looks like Taylor has an axe to grind and isn't exactly telling the entire true story about this, especially once insider info came out that Taylor actually asked Platinum Games for a triple-digit pay with residuals, terms that are unheard of in the video game voice acting industry. I don't really have a dog in this race. I just hope whatever is due will be paid out and everyone gets what they deserve in the end. The Amouranth domestic abuse scandal. 2022 Streamer Awards ASMR Streamer of the Year Amouranth of the Twitch hot tub meta fame revealed on stream that she was married for several years. This actually happened unintentionally when her stream was interrupted by her husband, who was heard verbally abusing her during the live stream. Amouranth discloses that she's been in a very abusive relationship with her husband, who has been controlling her actions by having access to all her accounts and their finances, trapping her in a very toxic relationship. Amouranth eventually found solace by recovering access to her finances and accounts and has since been seeking legal and emotional counsel. The couple did not appear divorced, as Amouranth simply said that her husband is not with her but is getting help. Amouranth would shortly after announce that she would be taking an indefinite break from streaming as she tries to piece back together her life. However, it's just been utterly horrifying what people have been saying about her. Reading comments on how she deserves abuse for tricking men to finance her by pretending that she's single, or that she somehow deserves the abuse for being a quote-unquote thought, or that how people believe that this is just a PR stunt to keep herself relevant. They're all wrong, by the way, as no one ever deserves to be subjected to emotional and physical abuse. Also, it's not Amouranth's fault that some guys let their dicks do the thinking, and how some of them are delusional enough to even believe that they have the slightest chance of dating someone just because they threw money to her account.
Choose your fighter.
Quite frankly, that's just plain ridiculous. Well, hopefully Amouranth and her husband find the help they need soon. RNG stands for Royal Never Gave Up. All cards were stacked against Royal Never Give Up in their Do or Die BO1 elimination series against Entity Esports earlier this week. What made this match special was RNG's situation wherein 4 of their 5 players were positive with COVID, leaving only one player, Xnova, on the stage. The rest of RNG played in their hotel rooms, while dressed up teddy bears with mock headsets and face masks sat on the seats of the players were supposed to occupy on the arena. This led to sad images of Xnova playing alone, losing alone, shaking the hands of Entity Esports alone, and crying alone as he walked back to the backstage tunnel. The game that just ended at that point was a 107-minute game. So far, the longest main stage game ever in the history of Dota 2 The International. Just imagine the mental fortitude one requires to be able to hold themselves together after a loss in a game like that. But RNG never gave up, and the fans reciprocated by cheering Ex-Nova on the stage, shouting his name over and over even as Entity celebrated their victory.
Right. And it's such a shame. This team has gone so far. They managed to fight against those odds really well. The handshake coming out.
This game was legendary not only because of its length, but also because of its unusual circumstance. One which Dota 2 fans will not soon
Choose
forget.
your fighter.
We got our first look at the Resident Evil 4 remake.
What do we do?
The lost labs are escaping. We need to go.
Now let's get to the good part. Capcom just revealed our first look at the upcoming Resident Evil 4 remake during the Resident Evil showcase earlier this week. Longtime viewers here on Neutral Gaming would know that Resident Evil 4 is my favorite Resident Evil game and is one of my most favorite games of all time. Seeing the new renders for Leon Kennedy, Ashley Graham, Ada Wong, Luis Serra, and heck even Salazar himself, all of these were amazing. I just can't get over Ada's new voice though. It felt off for me. But overall, Resident Evil 4 Remake is looking really good, and I'm going to free up an entire week of my calendar when this game comes out so that I can live stream it and play the game with you guys. Look out for that! And finally, we got the return of Silent Hill. Another classic horror series gets a new lease in life as Konami announced a series of new Silent Hill games, a new Silent Hill film, and a remake. After a very long time of no Silent Hill, we're suddenly getting an outpour of all sorts of Silent Hill. Earlier this week, Konami revealed that Silent Hill 2 Remake will soon come out as a timed PlayStation exclusive. They also revealed a new game called Silent Hill Townfall and an upcoming film called Return to Silent Hill. Another new game is called Silent Hill F with a small f. A mysterious new game produced by former Nintendo developer Motoi Okamoto. Finally, a Dark Pictures anthology type of Silent Hill game is also in production, which will be called Silent Hill Ascension, which will feature live, real-time, interactive scenes. Don't expect any of these games to come out anytime soon though. All of these are great by the way, but yeah, no. Still no PT guys. What a bummer. And that's it for our final episode of Cool Story Bro before our trip to Singapore. Don't forget to participate in our Tower of Fantasy giveaways. We have 2 Tower of Fantasy videos up so far, and 3 more will be released within the next week. Simply comment your answer for that video's question and you'll be able to stand a chance to win 1 golden nucleus and 1 special box. There's no limit for participation, so comment away on those videos. Kindly tune in again next week for some evergreen content that we'll be publishing during this time slot next week on Saturday, as well as for some vlogs that we'll be posting during our trip to Singapore as we share with you what we see inside the Singapore Indoor Stadium for the TI Finals. As always, I appreciate your continued support and I hope to see you again in the next episode. But until then, stay frosty.